Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the podcast dedicated to the commercial food equipment repair industry. My name is Pat Finley. I am a lead master certified technician at General Parts Group and a certified successor trainer. Our goal is to shine a light on what we believe to be one of the most interesting and rewarding industries a field service technician can work in. We love the work we do, and we are glad you're listening to this podcast. In this episode, we feature Luke Wiezycki about being a young gun. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Tonight, we have another young gun, but first, let's talk about RLS for a minute. The RLS Summer Tool promos are back. For a limited time, you can save $500 on your choice of 4 different tool and jaw sets used with RLS press fittings. That includes a Klauke 19 kilonewton tool and 5-jaw set, plus 8-jaw sets that are compatible with a wide variety of press tools, including Rigid, Milwaukee, and many others. For complete details, visit rapidlockingsystem.com/save500. With RLS press fittings, you get reliable joints in about 10 seconds with no flame, no fire hazards, no brazing materials, no burn permits, no fire spotters, and no nitrogen purging. Plus, you're getting the most proven HVACR press fittings on the market. The only ones that have been in use since 2015 and have more than 20 million install fittings in the field. Again, get all the details on the RLS Summer Tool promos at rapidlockingsystem.com/500. Thanks, RLS. So, we got a full boat tonight. We got Jason back in the house. We've got Rich fresh in from a service call, it looks like. And we have Luke Wiezycki. I messed it up. I'm sorry. Luke,
Okay.
how do I say it?
It's Wiezycki.
Wiezycki.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. So I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to have Jason back, and I'm excited to have Luke on. I've been following Luke for a couple of years now. We've interacted here and there quite a bit. If you guys don't notice, well, the guys listening aren't going to notice, but Luke looks a little young. And I just found out that he turned 21 last October. So he's the same age as my son that's in the field. So that's pretty cool.
Crap.
Thank you.
So what's going on, everybody? We'll start with Jason because he's been kind of incognito and off to the side for a little bit.
Hey, Rich is no chopped liver. We want to say hi to him too. I didn't hear you say hi to Rich.
I know
Left him
nothing about
completely
being
out.
nothing about being happy or excited to have Rich on the show. Nothing, nah.
Anyways,
funny.
you got your sunshine. So I'm doing well. Still getting my feet wet. New career, new chapter, and I'm enjoying myself. Getting to apply a lot of the experience I had in the past, stuff that things I love to talk about, hospitality, technical stuff. But it's a pretty good week.
Nice. Rich, did you just get off work?
Something like that. Yeah. And I'm wore out. I'm wore out. Now we had a install on a walk-in yesterday. Me and my son did. I mean, it was final connections, hanging the evap, setting the condenser, running the line sets, all that good stuff, and then just business is picking up more and more.
Nice.
I just picked up the local Pizza Huts, like from here to Georgia, basically.
Ooh.
And I just picked up another account that is gonna have, I think they said 24 locations for me to do HVAC service and maintenance on. So yeah.
Dang.
That's a blessing, man. Big time.
Mm-hmm.
Way to get after it, brother.
You
Inspirational.
better get that boy up to speed fast.
Yo, for real.
Is your wife running parts for you guys? Bringing them out to you?
Do what now?
Is your wife running parts runner or anything? Or is she just doing the books? Or she's just helping and everything?
She's helping all the way around. So yeah, if we need
That's
something,
awesome.
she'll run, pick it up, bring it to us, whatever it is. Yeah, it's definitely
that's awesome.
family
affair.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. So we have Luke here. Luke has been in this industry how many years, Luke?
A little over 2 years now.
A little over 2 years.
Yes,
So I don't know if you guys seen the little piece I wrote up about Luke, but let's get started on let's start from the beginning. Like, what did you do as a teenager?
Okay.
How did you figure out about this industry? What made you start in this industry? Let's get it all out there, dude.
Yeah, of course. So, well, thanks for having me on too. So I was in high school. I had just left working at Chick-fil-A, kind of when COVID happened, and I was detailing cars to make extra money in high school, and one of one of the places I was detailing cars for was a service company, and spent a lot of time there doing the vans, if for turnover and selling vans, and just they were getting new vans coming in, and so I was detailing their vans for when my friend of mine's father worked there as well, and he had talked to me a couple times, asked me, "Hey, what do you want to do when you finish high school?" Because I had went to school with his son, and I was getting pretty close to graduating, and really didn't know what I wanted to do. Um, and yeah, he was like, "Hey, man, you should definitely go on like a ride along, kind of see what this industry is like." He's like, "Because a lot of people that come to this industry, they don't really leave." And he's like, Everybody, it's a great industry to be a part of."
Mm-hmm.
And I always knew that I wanted to kind of get into the trades. Worked on dirt bikes and motorcycles with my grandfather uh, growing up and everything. And I was kicking around the idea of maybe going into welding or looking into trades and stuff. And it honestly just kind of fell in my lap. It was like, hey, go on a ride along, see what it's like at this company. And I graduated, and we scheduled a ride along with someone that trained me named Chad. Chad Slater, if he's watching. And right along went well, and found myself in the industry. And so they kind of immediately paired me up with an older gentleman named Eric Coyne, who retired, but he was kind of like the Garland guru at this service company, doing all the McDonald's certifications, working on the older Garland grills, and they paired me up to train under him, and that's kind of how I got started. You know.
That's kind of a rough one to get started with, Garland clam grills, man.
Yeah, I've been told that, but it's all I knew. It was that that was kind of like here's what you're gonna learn everything about.
Here's 4 models. Figure it out.
Right.
Like I said, I use Garland grills to run trainees off. So
yeah,
the fact that you stuck around through that.
That's a wild thing to start with, man. Because like I have guys that have been doing this 30 years. I'm like, no, you're not touching a Garland grill.
Yeah, which is it's I've been told that so many times, which is really really funny, and so that I'm sort of like working my way into other things, and I'm working on, you know, I mean they're simpler equipment for sure, but I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I have to differentiate between like a Garland grill and like a South Bend oven. It's
Right.
Yeah,
So,
but if you could figure out a Garland grill, you could probably figure out just about anything out there. I mean,
right.
it'll take you a little bit just to figure out sequence operations and stuff. But
And what isn't in it? It's got
Yeah.
heating elements, relays, contactors, control boards. Was it the stepping motors? So I mean,
yeah, not very many things use linear actuators and encoders, so
Yeah.
you're safe.
For real.
Right.
I remember when I first started using Garland, I absolutely hated them because I just got my butt kicked. And that was the old school ones where when you had to gap it, you were turning all 4 screws. And like you touch this one and it screwed everything up. And like,
aren't those your favorite, Luke?
The old school ones?
Are you talking about
like
not 9501?
There was one you kept saying like this one's a workhorse. I know that one's gonna be fine.
It's
like,
9501, yeah.
Yeah, I love the 9501. If I always tell like McDonald's managers, I'm like, if you still have a 9501 today, it's working good, then
Keep it.
Good luck getting parts for it, but
Yo,
good luck getting parts for it, but it's a workworse.
Dude, trying to gap those, I'm like, I got this perfect corner. I got this corner down. And then I go check the other one. I'm like, no, just start.
Oh, yeah. It's bent. Exactly. It's warped.
Last time I worked on one of those.
I'm done.
Last time I worked on one of those, tech support told me push it in the parking lot and hit it with my van.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, they quit supporting them a while ago. I mean, because they only had to support them so many years if they, stopped making them. So I don't think they make parts or sell parts for them anymore. I think any parts out there are just legacy parts getting shared around, sold around. And, once that dwindles down, they're just going to be kind of, it is what it is type situation. So,
Yeah, I mean they do use a lot of a lot of similar parts to like the 3Ws. So it's mainly if your platen is separating, then you're kind of it's time to get a new grill, you know. But
Yeah, you're kind of luck at that point.
yeah, but the actuators are the same on the 3Ws and like the
Mm-hmm.
World grills and the 9501s. They're the same actuator. Um, it's so I mean there's some differences, but there are some similarities too between them.
Yeah, Kitchen Cowboy said they're starting to phase out some parts for the World Grills too. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean I love the new platform, man.
I do too.
I actually seen one of the new more sealed top units. So like the Wendy's issue, they're having people hosing them down. So there's a sealed upper platen, um, which if you got to work on it, it's just going to be a nightmare. But it supposedly keeps a lot more water out, and I guess they've tested them a bunch. They've been out like 6 or 9 months down. It's really solved most of the problems. So
Nice.
it was pretty cool to see. And I will tell you this. So I was in the Garland booth at NRA, and they are doing away with that SIT control. The SIT valve is gone on their ranges and
What,
ovens and stuff. So
what is it called?
SIT, SIT valve.
I
It's
might have
their
been out a little too long here. I don't know what that is.
oh, it's been out forever. It's their combination gas safety and thermostat in one.
Okay.
No. Oh, okay.
And they're an absolute nightmare to change. So a lot of guys, if you're listening to this and you know what it is, you're cussing right now, but you'll be glad because I've seen the replacement and it looks pretty sweet. So I just had to get that out because I remembered it and I knew if I didn't say it, I'd forget about it. ADHD at its finest.
So you got to see the latest and greatest over there at the NRA, huh? Was it
Yeah.
as cool as well, obviously AHR didn't have cooking stuff.
I
Is
mean,
it gonna be better than NAFM?
There's a lot of people that weren't there. So they're actually saving their money for NAFM. So it sounds like NAFM's gonna be crazy in Atlanta next year. So
Really,
I'm gonna have to take some time out for that for sure.
yeah, and that's the 100th anniversary for our friends over at Caisson. So they're gonna be doing some stuff.
Oh, I'll be
at
there.
the same time.
I'll
So
go ahead and put my PTO in right now.
yeah, so we'll be hanging out at Caisson, and we'll be hanging out with Matt and Charlie over at
Yeah,
Caisson
we get to hang out with Matt.
So I'm excited for that. But
Those are
back
some
to
good boys
Luke.
right there.
Back to Luke. So you cut your teeth on Garland. So you started off doing the PM program, then worked your way into service on those.
Yeah.
You pretty much just focused on those while you were at your previous employer, correct?
Right. Yeah, and honestly, doing the certifications on them was really the best way to learn how to fix them and troubleshoot them because a lot of problems are solved if it's gapped correctly and if the settings are programmed correctly, especially in the older models. And so just doing that process all day, every day, and heating up the grease and doing the certifications, on them, I got to spend a lot of time in front of it, just looking at it. And then you plug it back in, you have a little problem that's occurred, because maybe one of the wires got pulled off while you were back there cleaning it and you learned how to troubleshoot. Oh, okay, that's what happens when that switch goes bad or when there's a broken wire to here. And so it really lent itself to becoming good at working on, like you said, a really difficult piece of equipment because I was doing the certifications. And then it went in, my trainer, Eric Coyne, retired and I took on all the service for the grills at that company, and so it really lent itself to working on them and learning the Garland product, and also being young. Then Garland got to know me when I went to the training and everything, and so I kind of built relationships with Garland as well, which was really cool.
So Heath said he wants it on his porch. Talk Rich has going on. So Heath is the one that's from Claremont, your old stomping grounds.
Yep. Yeah, Groveland. I seen his Facebook profile when I thought he was a Total Tech.
Yeah, I still don't know who Total Tech is. He said Will Carrier, and I didn't catch it. You're like, Willis Carrier? Seriously? I was like, we're never gonna find out who this is. So yeah, that's cool, man. So you've recently left where you're at. You're at a new company now, and you're trying to learn everything, right?
Yeah, the hot side for right now. So it's really really cool because I'm kind of getting to approach other equipment that I never would have touched at the last company. Now I'm now I'm able to work on it and learn it. And so I've been in training for a little while there, and now I'm running my own hot side calls on. I mean, today I was working on a cheese melter, a Lang. So
I'm
it
sorry.
just yeah. So I mean, it needs new elements, but and then before that I was working on like a hot dog roller grill, so nothing too crazy, but it is a lot of fun to get into something that you haven't really got into before and learn about it and troubleshoot it. It's a neat feeling, I think. Instead of kind of walking into something that you've worked on and repaired so many problems, you know what I'm trying to say? Like instead of walking into a Garland grill where I've changed out, 100 actuators. I've changed it. It's now I'm working on something I haven't even opened.
Yeah,
right.
You go into McDonald's, like, oh, I got a full day here. I know I'm cleaning all the grease out of the back of this thing. I'm changing this seal. I'm doing this and this and this. It's like, yeah, it's different. I can see that 100%. So, you worked on any combis or anything yet when you're in training?
I have worked on a little bit of rationale with one of our company has a lot of rationale train techs. So I've gotten a little bit of hands-on with those, and I've done a couple Unox service calls as well.
I'm sorry.
So, and Comotherm. Actually, today I put in a Comotherm blower wheel at a racetrack. So
nice. We've got we've got one racetrack. They're building another racetrack up here. They came out of nowhere, and they got those little Convatherm minis at ours, and we've been quite a bit of work at those for those Convatherm minis and couple other items we're taking care of in those stores. They're pretty cool little gas stations, though. I mean, they're big, and I mean, they're not a Buc-ee's, but I mean, they're for a gas station, they're big, and they got pretty decent food. And I was amazed.
No, yeah, they're. I've seen them kind of because they've been all over our area, but I've seen them put out like the new remodels and everything. Gas stations are like really focusing on food service now, which is interesting, but fantastic. And besides just like a hot dog roller grill, like now they're having the combi ovens, Wawa's, you can get a whole pizza. 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wawa's.
It's all about drawing people in. It's all about drawing people in. They're supposed to build one up here. Like, gets rumored. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'd like to see it, but
I don't know. If Wawa's listening, come to Greenville, South Carolina. You'll put the other gas stations out of business in a week. I promise.
Well, Florida's getting another.
Rich
Buc-ee's.
wants to fix their stuff.
Buc-ee's is going to lose its allure because they're just putting them everywhere now. Like, it used to be like a destination thing, and like they're building one in Ohio. There's one in Kentucky. There's one right outside like Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Like the biggest one's right there, and they're just popping them up everywhere. It's going to lose its allure.
Right.
I mean, I'll still stop there and get a brisket sandwich. I ain't gonna lie. But
I've never been there before. I just hear everyone. Then you wear Lucky shirts sometimes, Luke?
Yeah, well, I actually had a service manager at the last company that loved Buc-ee's so much. If I was within like 45 minutes of Buc-ee's, he'd be like, "Hey, here's my Buc-ee's order. You have permission."
Go get me some beaver nuggets.
Explain, what do they have? That's like everyone's going so nuts over. It's a gas station.
Oh,
it's what don't they have, bro? It's what don't they have?
Like that?
Dude, you can buy beef jerky by the pound. Like
the best beef jerky in the world. Like, I never seen beef jerky that goes bad. If you don't refrigerate their beef jerky, it'll go bad. And I found out because I kept mine in my suitcase, hiding it from my kids, and then when I pulled it out, it was all like moldy, and I was like, dang, that's some fresh beef jerky if it's gonna grow mold on it.
Dude, they have 100 pumps and there's no truck pumps allowed. So like semi drivers can't even park there. It's geared towards
all
like
civil, or it's all regular.
It's all normal people. Like it's wild, dude. The beverage coolers are huge. There's a full restaurant in there. They make their own fudge, sandwiches, briskets, burritos.
I did my Christmas shopping at Buc-ee's this year for my family. Like they have like a store.
They have a store where you can buy their gear, their swag, and all kinds of stuff. Dude.
Buc-ee's did piss me off one time though. That Buc-ee's in Gatlinburg, they did piss me off.
No, what did they do?
So me and my wife were out in Gatlinburg, and it was the day we were coming home. So we're like, let's grab something to eat. And I didn't know that Buc-ee's was there. So when I Googled food, it didn't pop up. Nothing popped up. We went to the world's most expensive Subway. Like, it was almost $40 for a sandwich each and a drink. And I'm like, dang, okay, whatever. 3 miles up the road as we're driving is that freaking Buc-ee's, bro. And like, we needed gas. My wife was like, oh, let's pull into Buc-ee's and get gas. I was like, nope, they done pissed me off. Drove like another 100 miles before we got gas.
It must have been after they opened because they haven't even been open that long.
Yeah, then it had to be because it's already been several months since we were out there.
Because it's like up on the hill, like right by the interstate. It's the biggest one supposedly. They were building it last time I was down there. I try to go like once a year. So
yeah,
that is so weird.
Well, I would say side note, but kind of interesting, like with like the industry and gas stations with food and everything. I went to Wendy's today and a robot, it was like Chat GPT took my order. Like really? I was not 100% through the drive-through. I was talking to.
How did you know it was a robot?
Well, I knew immediately because I pulled up and they were like, "Order whenever you're ready." Yeah,
you're like, yeah, these people ain't ready for this. These people ain't ready for this.
Exactly. And I was like, "There's no way this is a real person." And then, yeah, and it was a great experience. I mean, like, asked me what I wanted and asked me if I wanted to make it a meal, and then asked me what I wanted the drink to be and asked me if I wanted any sauce. I pulled up to the window and it was a different person talking.
Different
more than meets the eye.
And I was like,
that was funny. How'd you know it was a robot? They were ready for me and they got my order right.
Yeah.
Stop, Rich.
Was that one of those price adjusted stores they were talking about doing? Like,
I hope not, because I called my buddy and he was telling me about the price adjustment store, and that they're putting that out, and I'll have to look because if they have that technology, but yeah, I mean, that's what's happening in a lot of the store. I mean, someone that went to the NRA conference showed me a video of a robot that was doing the baskets and the fry hoppers and
yeah, Toast has had it for a couple of years.
Yeah,
and it's always got a line there. Mm-hmm. You go by the Middleby booth, dude, and they got robots. You go up to the computer and you put in your order at the show, like what pizza you want, and this robot makes a pizza and cooks it, and then puts it in a box and puts it in a slot, and like you get a number, and that's your slot, and it's your pizza. At the show, they're doing it.
Yeah,
it's wild. That's wild. So I'm about to ask my buddy Dave. He'll listen to this on Friday. He works for Wendy's owner. They have a bunch of stores, and I'll see if he knows anything about the AI and see what he says. So it may be a corporate thing. I don't know.
It was insane. And honestly, like I'm one to kind of criticize it if the technology isn't there yet or the AI isn't there, but it was a very smooth process. I was actually pretty shocked. Some research
I can get used to this.
The AI, the leaps and bounds it's made in the last like 6 months or a year is incredible. I hate to see where it's going to be in 5 years, man, because it can literally, it can take someone's voice. I listened to a guy named Andy Frisella's podcast and stuff, and like he was complaining that people were stealing his voice and making motivational speeches using his voice.
That's
wow.
He watched on the internet. And he's like, when did I say this? He's like, man, this is pretty good. And they come to find out he never said it. It was a bot, an AI bot that someone made it say use his voice and everything. I was like, that's insane, dude.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Well, there goes voice verification for banks and everything else.
Retina scans now. So, anything you're looking forward to learning or doing at your new place of employment?
Oh yeah. So right now, just doing hot side equipment. Obviously, in the future, I'd like to kind of be one of the unicorns that you hear about, where you can do hot and cold side. But right now, yeah, Jason's one of them.
These two guys.
Oh yeah, and you guys are all. Yeah, exactly.
We try.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you can do one of the sides well these days, you're a unicorn. So,
shots fired! Shots fired!
That's why you hear, Rich. That's why you hear.
No, if you can be proficient and good at both sides, you can pretty much name your price. You can do whatever you want if you're proficient. Now, if you can, limp through one and do one the other, pretty good. You're still doing pretty well. But if you're proficient at both, you are something special, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I'm excited for sure, and I like that I'm learning hot side first. Kind of like I'm glad that I learned Garland first because now I'm getting to.
You're not intimidated,
Right? Not at all. Not at all. And I know I'm going to fry master training pretty soon, so I'm very excited for that. Because up till now, the only fryers I've worked on are the Pitcos, like the 24, and the like millivolt Pitcos.
Supreme.
Right. So that's exciting. And then I have the fry master training coming up very soon, so kind of get my hands on some of those. And they use the same well built screens as the Garland, so hopefully.
Yep.
It's the same screen across all of them now. So how'd you like taking that drain valve off that Pitco?
Oh yeah, you saw that. It was much easier. I saw that you commented that the factory uses an air gun.
Oh my gosh, yes. So I did the same thing as you. I went and tried changing one, and I said, "Screw it!" I went to Harbor Freight and bought that big socket set, and it's been a game changer. But yeah, I went to Pitco Factory School and you do a tour, and it's like it shows them putting like they put the fry pot together outside, and it shows like it's like a 3/4 or 1 inch impact, gun, and they're just hammering on there. And we went to another spot where it was leaking, and the guy was trying to take it off, and he had this clamp. He had the fry pot clamped in this table, and he had this like 6-foot breaker bar trying to break it over. And I was like, this is why I hate you guys right here. This.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it to be that tight, man.
Yeah, I did. I've done a few of them now, and the first one was challenging, but like a lot of things, the second one was a lot smoother. I used a clamp too to kind of pull the handle over, and that gave me just enough room to be able to spin the valve off, and obviously same thing. I went to Harbor Freight, got the big breaker bar set. I'm like, now I could also work on a tractor, I guess, because I have the whole set. But but
you only need 2 out of that set. You can put the rest. Leave the rest at home. Is what I ended up doing.
Exactly.
I do it too. I need it after a while. The rest stays at home. I'm done with it. I'm not carrying that big thing around. I got enough stuff on my truck. I changed trucks yesterday, and it was absolutely miserable. Absolutely miserable.
This is a good point by Heath.
So yeah, he says the willingness to buy any tool needed while in the field is a huge key to success. Yeah. Your company's not always going to buy tools for you. Expensive one-off tools, yeah, but stuff like this, I bought mine and the company actually reimbursed me and bought it from me, luckily. But you're going to have to be willing to invest in yourself.
If you want to be any good, you do.
Yeah. Right.
That's just like training. I mean, you can only rely on your employer to send you to so much training. You got to be willing to do it on your own, reach out. Like, you're good about it. If you get stumped, you'll reach out to other technicians. You'll reach out to manufacturers and try to figure it out. We've talked with some Garland stuff that you had it figured out, and you called me, and I was like, well, that's the same conclusion I'm coming to. And, I was like, well, let's call this guy over in the UK and see what he says. And
Brendan, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Luke, you've reached out to Pat?
Yeah, one night.
Cool.
Yeah, it was.
I reached out to him.
It was an EMI filter. I couldn't believe the EMI filter went bad. I still don't know how that's possible, but when I bypassed it, the chattering, the motor speed board was chattering, and or like the light, and bypassed the EMI filter and was fine. And so I reached out to Pat to see, because like I know the Garland, but I'm also trying to build up my own electrical theory as well. Mm-hmm. And so I reached out to Pat, kind of understand, okay, here's what an EMI filter does. Mm-hmm. Is this okay to bypass? And we reached out to Brendan to see if it was okay to bypass, because they don't manufacture, and like there's no part number for a Garland EMI filter.
No, it's there.
So let's talk about the power of networking right there, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You texted me like at night.
9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, he was texting me like, hey, you think it'd be okay if I call Pat this time? I'm like, yeah. Here's his number. I'm going back to bed.
I'm good, man.
I'm an old fuddy duddy.
I always have my phone, even if I'm not on call, dude. I carry both my phones. It's just me. I mean, I got a lot of guys that rely on me, and I tell a lot of guys that I always have my phone. I tell people that they can reach out to me. I try to help them out, and I don't want to. I know what it was like to struggle and like feel like you didn't have anybody to reach out to. and so I just kind of don't want anyone else to go through that.
Yeah, and it's a great tool, especially if it's 9 o'clock at night, and you kind of have not a dumb question, but it's something that's like, and that's what I'm trying to build up to by now working on other equipment is, okay, a Garland high limit is not all high limits. It's like, well, there's cap 2 high limits now that rely on temperature and pressure. Like, mind blown. For me, it was.
It's not just two dissimilar metals that open up at a certain temperature.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And so I'm trying to learn the theory on it too, and have a good basis in theory, because if there's techs that I know that are really great at reading schematics, and they can figure something out that they don't know anything about just by the schematic. And that's a great skill to have. Instead of being like the Garland trained person.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my goal is now, is to get a good foundation of everything else, and like the theories and rules and stuff. And
it's cool to be like the go-to guy for like certain things, but you don't want to just always do that. You want to be versatile. So, and if I only had to work on one thing all the time, I'd lose my mind. So that's why I love this job. But so that's definitely a good point there. You want to work on everything you can. It was cool that you got that experience, but now you can take that experience you've had with the Garland and transfer it to other manufacturers or other companies now you work for. So that's really cool.
Right.
Is your new company an ASA too? ASA as well, or the Garland Factory Authorized Service Agency?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, we've done
I can speak to that. Yes, they are. Sorry.
Yeah. So we are, and so done some of the Wendy's like PMs, overnight PMs, and actually had some stores kind of follow me over based on the Garlands and stuff, which is really, really cool. So we still working on Garland, which is awesome.
That's cool.
We just had a Garland training actually at our company not too long ago, so I got to see Ken. He's the trainer for Garland in Florida.
Nice. I always deal with Robert Grace, who I always deal with. I'm trying to get him to either let me try to do a level 2 class again for our guys, or see if he wants to come in and do some stuff at our facility. We've got a hood, we've got gas, we've got electric, we've got 3-phase, we got everything. So I'm trying to get that lined up, as well as some Frymaster stuff. So always just trying to learn and get my guys trained up as much as I can. I don't want them to suffer.
Right.
So what's some of the things you're looking forward to learning?
Equipment wise, I'm really interested in the combi ovens, because I sort of see kind of how I feel like the clamshell Garlands are with the combi ovens. It's like a really technical kind of nobody has clamshells at their house. Nobody really has combi ovens at their house yet. But that's something I'm really interested to learn as well. Obviously, right now I'm working on a lot of the simpler hot side items like steam wells, rethermalizers, stuff like that, toasters. But eventually, now I want to get into the combi ovens and stuff. So I've done a little bit of combo therm, kind of got my feet wet with those, because they're getting put in everywhere at gas stations. I've done a lot of the installs on them. So I'm like, okay, a lot of these places now have these combi ovens, and that's kind of the future for a lot of things, I think. And so it's something I want to learn.
Combi ovens are wild, though. You have rationale that has all kinds of stuff. And then you get down to like the combo therm, where like it accomplishes the same thing, but it doesn't have a boiler. It's not near as complicated. I mean, everybody has their own little spin on it. Now you can get a combo therm with a boiler, but yeah, it's just everybody has their own little spin on it. Everybody does their own little thing a certain way, but I enjoy working on them. Sometimes I wish I didn't, but I enjoy working on for the most part. Just like everything, man. There's days where I'm like, why did I say I want to do refrigeration? This is dumb.
Right.
Yeah. And those combis aren't as complicated as they look. You just got to understand what each thing does, but they look way more intimidating than they actually are.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's I think they're neat, and like I said with Garland, walking into a service call with a a Garland that's not working, you sort of feel like a specialized tech because it's a highly technical, specialized piece of equipment, and I kind of feel that way towards the combi ovens, and so it's something I definitely want to learn as well. Kind of like the new Frymasters too. They're with the screens. That's kind of how a lot of the equipment is going in our industry lately. So
I want to work on one of the new Frymasters with the variable speed DC drive motors for the blowers. So they're going to change. Like they're having the same little the Garland grills have that little bitty square blower motor for the burners on the gas ones. Their Frymaster's taking those over for their burner blowers. So hopefully it'd be a lot more. They'll get a lot better longevity out of them because, I mean, that's been the Achilles heel of Frymaster for years. Is those burner blowers. They're 120 volts and they just smoke relays. No matter what relay seems like they use, they smoke them. Even on the new ones, one has that big 120 volt relay. It's got a relay up behind the board. It's smoking those. I've got a lot of them have gone bad. And when those relays don't come on, it's when you get the delayed ignition. Everybody screams and cries. It's a gunshot. It's a cannon going off.
Right.
That's my favorite one to diagnose. Like you get a call, hey, they're saying our fryer's popping and banging. And if I got a trainee with me, he's going to learn the hard way. But if I'm going by myself, the first thing I do is I reach down, shut the gas off, and I turn the fryer on. The burner blower doesn't come on. Let's go there.
Right.
So, but yeah, they're supposed to change over that little bitty DC variable drive one. So I'm anxious to see what that's going to do for them.
Yeah, hopefully it does well. I know the Garland ones are fantastically designed. So if it is the same one, I got dinner with Ken and Bob Gray one night, and he was telling me that the designer of those said that it'll never fail. And he's like, so if you get one of them in the field that fails, he's like, mail it and ship it to my desk so I can tell the engineer that I have one that failed, but I have yet to have one fail. So if anybody out there gets one that fails, mail it to me and I'll mail it to
Call Luke.
They'll do it on the fryer. It'll be exposed.
Yeah, right.
The Garland's pretty hard to get to. That's pretty much covered up, and you can't get to it unless you pull the front off, and it's a little bit of work. But on the fryers, it'll be right there in the front like the other one, so they'll fail on the fryers.
Yeah.
They'll suck enough grease and it'll kill it. The RLS summer tool promos are back. For a limited time, you can save $500 on your choice of 4 different tool and jaw sets used with RLS press fittings. That includes the Klauke 19 kilonewton tool and 5 jaw set, plus 8 jaw sets that are compatible with a wide variety of press tools, including Rigid, Milwaukee, and many others. For complete details, visit rapidlockingsystem.com/save500. With RLS press fittings, you get reliable joints in about 10 seconds. With no flame, no fire hazards, no brazing materials, no burn permits, no fire spotters, and no nitrogen purging. Plus, you're getting the most proven HVACR press fittings on the market. The only ones that have been in use since 2015 and have more than 20 million installed fittings in the field. Again, get all the details on the RLS summer tool promos at rapidlockingsystem.com/save500. Thanks, RLS. Everybody's loving the front porch vibes there, Rich.
Yeah, I saw a cat earlier. I was going to say something, but I didn't interrupt Luke.
That's
kitten jumped up there.
Is that the guest neighbor's cat or the guest's cat, or is that someone else?
Yeah, and that's the guest cat harassing me. Yeah,
on the Rock mascot.
Your mama, no,
she's a lovely lady.
Hush your mouth. Yeah, I see that cat. I was like, "What's going on over there?" I was like, "Oh, I know whose cat that is." Yeah. No cats for Rich.
Nope.
Not
he's one
person.
of them.
So, have you got any of your FESA certifications yet?
I have no. Well, I'm working on the electrical one. Me personally, right now, I don't have any of them completed. But that's definitely in the works. Gonna start with the electrical one, and then hopefully get the gas one as well. The end goal is obviously to be Master FESA certified. And so that's kind of why right now I'm brushing up on a lot of like the electrical theory and everything, so that hopefully I can take that test and pass it.
Sweet.
Well, that test is easy. The electrical test is real easy.
Is it?
Electrical is the easiest one, yeah.
I have the book. the Bible. It's a thick book.
I took refrigeration after I took my EPA. I'd never done refrigeration. That was the first one I did. I read the book, took the test, and passed it the first time. And really? I didn't do refrigeration for 3 more years.
Yeah, refrigeration was the easiest for me. Everybody was like, "That's the hardest one. That's the hardest one." I'm like, "Well, let me take it." Now, I mean, I didn't become Sefesa certified till like 2 years ago, maybe, because I never really cared about it. But then they were like, "Well, you get more money if you get a certification." I'm like, "All right, let me at it. Let me at it."
Why didn't you start off with that?
Well, exactly. Lead with that next time.
That's something too that I think I can do the electrical one and be ready for it. But even though I'm young, I also don't want to be the young guy that's like, I've been in the industry 2 years and I'm Master Sefesa certified. Like, I want to earn each one as I go and be like, actually know what I'm talking about when it comes to things. So that's kind of the goal.
I know some people that been in the industry 30 years and they're Master certified, and I'm still like, you sure about that?
Yeah, well,
so
you stole somebody's patch, didn't you?
Patrick Duffy, he used to own Duffy's AIS. They're now a Parkstown limited service group thing, but his son like grew up doing this, and like he took his first Sefesa test at like 16. He was Master certified by 18. But he grew up in it. I mean, that's just what he'd known his whole life. And like I had him on the show, and he actually wrote this letter to himself when he was a kid about what he wanted to be when he grew up, and it's service tech, and I mean he's killing it. He's doing good, so that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it is neat.
So
yeah, there's another younger guy at our company who's he actually, the first thing that he said to me when I got hired on, he was like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, 21, and he's like, "Oh man, you're younger than me," But I mean, he's 20. He just turned 23, so another young guy in the industry and stuff, which is really cool. And it's also, I think it's neat to have coworkers my own age, which is nice. But like you said, your sons, are getting into it, which is good because a lot of people are retiring.
Yeah, when I started like 25, and I was the youngest guy everywhere I went till I was like 35. And then we hired someone younger than me, and they quit. And then I was back to being the youngest guy again at like 37. So it's cool to see. I love seeing the young guys in there. My son, he's 21. My other son, he starts in a week and a half or 2 weeks, and he's 18. So it's exciting to see the younger guys in there actually wanting to get dirty, because you see these guys all the time. Oh, no one wants to work. No one wants to get dirty. Like, no, maybe people just don't want to deal with you.
Right.
God forbid that's you're the problem, right?
Yeah. I mean,
put all your trainees suck.
In that van.
Yeah, all your trainees. Yeah, I've been there. I've seen that. Yeah, we got to do a better job just figuring out how these guys learn and what makes them tick. I mean, I say it all the time, but 20 years ago, you didn't have this many parts. It wasn't this hard. You didn't have to do this kind of training. And nowadays, I mean, there's computers on everything. There's miles of wire. There's some units, that don't stamp their wires. There's some units that use single color wire. I mean, everything's nuts. It's so overcomplicated versus 20 years ago.
Over-engineered.
Yep. Every manufacturer wants to be proprietary, and
I think about it all the time. I'm like, you really have to do a lot of research on your own, on your own time too. Also, which I do. I mean, you really have to do a lot of studying in this industry to know how to work on a good amount of stuff out there. It's mind blowing. Yeah, some said I know I'm the problem.
At least he admits it. I have my days. I'm not gonna lie. Some days I don't want to do it.
One of my former coworkers was like that. The comment. One of my former coworkers was like, "Don't put trainees with me. I am the problem."
You don't want to duplicate this problem, do you?
And now I have my kid, another kid riding with me, and it's like I gotta be nice. So I'll go home and tell my wife.
Right.
I'm not worried about consequences at work. I'm worried about consequences at home.
That's the problem with having my son and my wife work with me. If I say something to my son, he's like, "You want me to tell your boss?" He's like, "Your boss is my mom," and I'm like, "Shut up." For you accidentally get left at this restaurant.
Find your own way home. That's funny.
So you bought a new van, man. How you liking it? You got a new van, right?
Me?
Yeah. You had one you were showing off recently?
That was me. I got a new one yesterday.
Pat was.
Oh, you got a Chevy? Oh, okay.
I got a GMC yesterday, and
I get those goatees mixed up.
I absolutely hate it. It's smaller than my Nissan. It rides worse than my Nissan. It doesn't have Bluetooth. I'm so mad. But, I mean, it's just me venting. I'll get used to it. I bought a Bluetooth adapter, came today. It doesn't have a key fob. That's funny.
Nissans, they're like 10 feet long. It's ridiculous.
Oh, they ride so nice, though.
Yeah, those Nissans ride real nice.
Yeah. Busting a U-turn sucks.
I mean,
Okay, so I drove one for like 2 weeks. Okay, so I mean, I still think that's an informed opinion in my opinion. You
know? So I got that new van yesterday. I went back in this morning and I put my ladders on there, but the ladder racks I bought, they only have one drop down, and you put your extension ladder on there. Well, the spaces are too far apart. You can't slide your 6-footer on the other side because it won't hit both the things. So now I'm like, where do I put my 6-footer at? So I strapped my 6-footer on top of my extension ladder, but when you pull it down, it's too top heavy. It wants to roll off the thing now. I'm like,
good times.
Like, this is great. So now I'm like, am I going to hang my 6-footer on the inside from the ceiling and it's bounce around all the time? Like, what am I going to do with this thing? And I have no room on the floor because I carry way too many tools. Like, I carry shit I don't need to carry. I carry that RP361. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use this. I'm like, if I know I'm going to use it, I know days in advance. So I don't need to carry it on my truck all the time. I got pack outs in there. I insist on using the pack out cart, the one that's extended hand. I insist on using that. And like, well, if I get installs, it's nice to do. But once again, if I'm getting installs, I know days in advance. So I don't really need to carry it. So I stack everything on it. And it's so tall, I take a curve and it falls over in the back of the van. I'm just like, there's got to be a better way. I'm like, can I just have a box truck and like nothing on it and just let me pack out the whole thing?
Right. Yeah. So I'm taking the metal shelves out.
I want to do like Joe Sharp. Have you ever saw the inside of Joe Sharp's van? He sent you that picture with the all packed out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Someone commented on my post and their whole van was all pack outs, and I was like, oh. But like the bad thing is the Chevy doesn't have anything between two seats. It's like it's a big hole there. And he took like pack outs and he put pack outs in there for storage, and then he put like the smooth worktop wood thing on it. And it's pretty sick. So I'm gonna do that.
Nice.
Maybe I might put a LinkedIn post on it now that you mentioned it. My grandfather, when I grew up, he was I used to ride to his property, and he had a Chevy van like that too, with nothing in the center, and he built like a wooden center console. And since now he doesn't drive a work van anymore or anything, I put that in the work van that I have now, which is kind of neat. It's like kind of pass it down. But yeah, it's like this wooden center console that has carpet on top and hinge that he built. That's what I have in my van. Yeah.
That's nice.
It's funny.
We definitely share that. That's cool.
Yeah, I just thought of it.
When we used to have the GMCs and Chevys before, like we had a box in there that opened up. You put your arm on and use. But I don't know. This van loadout's kind of sketch, but I'll get used to it. Just it's change. Technicians don't like change. You know how it goes.
Right.
I had to put my van in the shop one day at my last employer, and the shop was like, "We're only going to have your van for a day," so I took PTO just so I didn't have to move my stuff to another van.
Yeah, I was the same way. Like the transmission went on in my van, and like, how long is it going to take to fix? And they're like, 3 days. And I'm like, they're like, we're going to put you in this. I was like, nah. I was like,
loaner always sucks.
I was like, nah. I was like, I'll just take my tools out at home. That's fine.
Yeah, my favorite is when they tell you, can you take what you think you're going to need for the service call? Take what parts you think you need. What?
That's burned in my head. Like I can't take that call because I don't have those parts.
Right.
I just refused to work. I'm like, no, I'm done. So I wrecked my van. I had a brand new van. I wrecked it, and oh yeah, it was like 9,000 miles. 9,000 miles total.
No.
Well, I didn't total it. I hit somebody, and my part was fixable. But the guy that hit me at like 60 miles an hour that didn't slow down in the back kind of finished it off because he hit it in the corner and just plowed it underneath, just bent it down underneath. But I went to I got all my stuff out of the record yard because like I'm not playing this game. I got all my tools off, and then Total Tech. Will Carrier.
What?
Total Tech, what is your name?
And,
Identify yourself.
But I went the next day. I went to the auto body place when I towed it there, and like it was parked outside on the road, unlocked, and then I still had tools in there, and like
Hell no.
like stuff was gone. Like, and I was like, I threw a fit. I was like, no. I was like, well, how do you know it's unlocked? I was like, because I drove by and checked it. And they're like, well, why are you doing that? I was like, because I have money in there. That's why I'm doing that. I was so pissed. So pissed. So we got going on here. He ain't gonna tell us who he is. It's Willis Carrier. I fell for that hook, line, and sinker too, man.
You're like, Will Carrier. I'm like, seriously?
He didn't reply back because I replied back to him, Willis Carrier, nice. And he didn't say a word. He just let it be. It's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, pack outs are the way to go, man. Like if you have the space to do it, like I've seen some beautiful like box trucks, man. Guys just line them out, organize everything, and like he said, Joe's got like 20 G's and pack outs in his van. It adds up pretty fast. But if you buy them, man, they give you deals on them, and you can catch them on sale, and you can get them fairly good price on them.
Yeah, I've seen the whole tool industry's gotten to be out of control too with like the boxes. Like obviously Milwaukee started with the pack out, and like pack outs are great. I have pack outs, but then there's like the Ryobi box. Now Klein has its own box, and then Craftsman Harbor Freight's doing its own box too. And none of them connect together. It's like everybody has their own.
Oh, there's companies that make adapters and plates where you can stack other stuff on other stuff. There's companies out there doing it.
Yeah, they're doing like adaptions, but there's a Tough Built Lowe's has Tough Built with those boxes, and there's one ad that I saw I think they're trying to get it out for Father's Day, but it's a cart that goes in the back of like a pickup truck that you can pull out, and the legs will drop down as you pull it out, and so you can flushly pull it out from the back of a pickup, which. If they come out with that, I'm gonna buy that, and I'll put pack out plates on it so that I can put my pack outs on it, because that would be sick just to have. But
Luke's Milwaukee all day, man.
Yeah, I'm a Milwaukee guy.
I'm not like you, man.
Tough cart looks cool.
Milwaukee will make one if it sells.
Yeah, right. Hopefully.
The tool industry.
I think those Tough Builts. I think Adrian in Reliable HVAC did a whole. I think he had his pickup truck all done. And he did it for like a few weeks, and then he turned them back in. And if I remember correctly, he turned them back in, and he made a video about turning them back in. If I remember correctly, he's like, "No, they're not for me."
Yeah, Adrian doesn't care. He got a lot of
man. That's honest as hell. Right there.
He got a lot of views out of that too, because like people. That's when they first came out. People were just like dogging the crap out of them. It's funny.
Well, they have I know they have those little belt like the bags that clip, and those are pretty cool. Like they have like the tool pouches, and they have like it's like a cleat system, almost like a woodworking like French cleat that receives it, and those are cool. But they've like paused making them for a while, so they don't sell the bags, but they still sell the clips. Because I went to go get one of them, the bags, another one, and I got the clips at Lowe's, and I was like, "Do you guys have any of the bags?" "Oh no, we're not selling them right now." And I'm like, "But you sell the clips for them." But
nice.
Those are pretty cool. So
I'm Team Vito, bud. That's all I got.
Vito, yeah. I have Jason and Chad put me on Vito, two guys at our company. Tech Pack.
I just got a shipment in yesterday. I got the new lunchbox, the LVC 15.
Oh, the one we saw at freaking AHR.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I got that.
Necessary, Pat?
Well, I had a new van, so I need a new lunchbox.
Define necessary.
I can make excuses for everything, but that thing is. I want to get the. And it comes with yeah. Well, I've got an extra one.
Oh, really?
The backpack, yeah.
Yeah, I saw Jason got it. The goodness, where'd you guys all go, Jason?
AHR.
HVAC. Yeah,
HVAC Tactical Award.
Yeah, they did the.
Shout out to
Jason,
Ben.
Yeah, Jason called me up. He's like, "Oh man, they're like nobody wanted the camo one for some reason." He's like, "Stack of the camo."
There's just a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, Luke was like, I want one. He was drooling over it.
Make
Like, I
him
want
one.
Look, if I could get you one, I would.
Well,
They're all gone.
The Tactical Awards, he'll be announcing it soon, pre-sale, and you can get a ticket. And I know I'm pretty sure Vito's doing a bag again, so I'm sure it'll probably be a backpack again. He'll announce it, though, when it comes about. I know I will be there, and my wife will be there for sure, and we'll see who else we can get there. But I'm trying to get us to be up on that, listed for podcast of the year. So that's my goal for this year.
Oh yeah,
Luke, you should come by and do your follow-up video over there since it's
that would
in
be
Orlando,
cool.
right?
Yeah, I'll actually be in Orlando for like 9 or 10 days. So I'm gonna go down for the HVAC school symposium. It's the week before. It's like Thursday, Friday before, and then Tactical will be on Super Bowl Sunday, and then the show will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll leave Thursday.
So I'm gonna ask because I have Rich right here in front of me. Rich, are you gonna be there?
If I can hire another technician before then, yes.
You gotta do what you gotta do, brother.
Yep.
So EC to Fix says he considered a Vito, but he's used to a briefcase style with pallets. I could do a quick inventory before leaving job site. Yeah, I've got a couple guys, man. They've been doing this for years and years and years. And they've got the briefcase with it folds out. You get the little liners in there. Jason's like, "What are you talking about?" I see it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh man, look at that! It's a tool briefcase, dude, and it's like
tool briefcase.
Yeah.
So I already got message from a few people like, "What are you looking at down there?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, what is that?
Called out.
It's probably work emails.
No, I just approved the walk-in just a second ago.
As long as it's not in my market, I don't care.
Somebody just made 17.
Like a Pelican case
or R2, I think.
No, it's like it's like a briefcase, man. Like a briefcase, and you open it up, and it's got inserts. Your tools go in. Some are like foam. You can do like the pluck out foam where you can lay your tools in there, and some have like slots where you can slide screwdrivers and stuff in. There's different styles of them.
Oh, that's cool.
That's EC, cool. What brand do you got there? I want to look it up. I like buying stuff I'll probably never get around to using.
Yeah, you're not tech anymore.
And he's talking shit about me.
Hey, what?
Oh, hey, whoa.
Did you just say I'm not a tech anymore? Oh, those are fighting words.
No, I didn't mean that. You don't need to bring
my feeling. That one feeling I got. You heard it.
Yeah.
I'll say it for you, and I mean it. You're not a tech anymore.
Right.
So I'm gonna share my screen because I found the tool briefcase. Hold on, I gotta do this.
I see you on these streets, Rich.
That's funny. Here we go. Do you guys see this?
It's a briefcase. Yeah. I mean, you either have $1 million in it or a bomb.
Yeah, but I mean,
they sell that at Harbor Freight for like $45.
Well, this is one of Granger. It's the first one that came up, but I mean, it's different. I mean, like old school guys, I see using them. It's just, I mean, a lot of guys had them. I mean, it's just what it was. I mean, I like the Vito because you get the hard bottoms. It doesn't get wet. The warranty's phenomenal. I mean, I had one that I lost a rivet and it wasn't even hurting anything. I said, "Hey, can you sell me a new screw or a rivet for this?" And they're like, "Oh, what did you buy?" I sent them the thing. Like, "Oh, just send it to us." And like, they sent me a brand new tool bag. I was like, I thought I was gonna get mine back with a new screw in it. I'm like, I still got the brand new tool bag.
I have never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, that would make me say something, and this might be dating myself and before your time, Luke, but like Inspector Gadget or something.
Oh, dude, I get called Inspector Gadget every service call I walk into with my Vito pack on. That or Ghostbusters. They're, come in with the Tech Pack MC, especially the way like the USG has like their uniform styles and stuff. You look like a Ghostbuster, man.
Have you know what Inspector Gadget is?
Yes.
That was my next question.
Yeah. I know what it is.
I had to ask.
Barely.
My kids probably don't, so.
He said barely.
Go Gadget
that's a compliment, dude. Inspector Gadget is like being called MacGyver. It's pretty cool.
Now, did you have to Google it the first time they called you that, or you knew what it was?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely. What is that? Oh, okay.
We need Rich to get his flashlight so he can start telling ghost stories. It's getting dark.
Yeah, I forgot to put my porch lights on before I sat down, and then I was like, screw this. It's just going to be dark.
It's going to be dark.
Any mosquitoes right now up there in the Carolinas?
We actually don't get a lot of mosquitoes.
What's the weather now so I can curse you out? Oh, look at that.
My wife must be watching the show.
She's watching the show. And let there be light.
Point, man. old lady's on point, bro.
Yeah, she is.
So Total Tech, he's got a question. He says, "I've got a question for you all. After years of refrigeration, he's ready for a change. He's got 2 offers on the table: quality control of custom industrial refrigeration units at a factory or working in a large food processing facility. Which would you go for?" Well,
Nah. We're not telling him nothing till we know who he is.
I was gonna say that.
Figure it out yourself.
Yo, it'll be an even trade. What's your name?
What's your name, Tony?
Matter of fact, we're gonna send you a link to the episode, and you jump on here so we can see you.
We want to see in person because we don't. I want to see the ID. It says Will Carrier. He got me on that.
So back to his question. Let's go back to that real quick.
Let me put it back up here.
Let's give him a pass.
Customer industrial refrigeration units at a factory or working in a large food processing facility. I've done some installs and startup and warranty work at a large food processing facility, and it is absolutely miserable. Like, you have to suit up, you have to walk through like floors of solution so you don't track anything in. It's just your tools have to be clean, sanitized. I mean, once you're used to it, it's probably not bad, but getting used to it, it's gonna suck.
You might as well have isolated or tools that are just for that job. That's the case.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say, though.
Yeah, I can tell you either way, to be honest with you.
I don't know about the industrial factory side of it. I can't be for sure, but like I said, I've done a little bit of warranty work at some food processing facilities, and it sucks. Once the FDA is on site, it's game over. It's a totally different animal. So,
is that like like OSHA being on site?
It's worse because
it's worse.
It's terrible. I mean, and those places have FDA workers there. If they're cooking or making food, FDA is there on site. It's wild. This place was making like, you know how you go to the gas station and those sandwiches, they run through the turbo chef or whatever, heat them up. This place makes those, and they get distributed to gas stations. So like, they're pumping out thousands of those things a day, and it's nuts, man. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Like, before they opened up, it was cool. Like, they're like, hey, like, I'm installing this big flight dish machine over here, and they're like, oh, you can just drive your van in here and drive back there. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, just drive your van back there. So I just drove the van back there. I was like, this is cool. And then I came back and they were open, and they're like, oh, you can't even park in the parking lot. You got to park over here and walk through this and do this, and this. I'm like, man, screw this and somebody else. I'm out. That's the place where I have to find that picture. I was underneath the hood, and like, everything had a water line hooked to it, and they had like 1/2 inch line coming out of the hood, and it had like a million T's, and it was just like flex lines just running everywhere. It was like 20 things on there, and like 7 of them were just pouring water out, and I was like, how does this even work? How's this pass? How's this fly? I was like, this is stupid.
Well, let me ask Luke. Get back to Luke here, because Luke, I told you it's like Joe Rogan. We just shoot the. Luke, what do you like the most about? One of the things I remember working with you before that you took a lot of pride in was your relationship with the customers and just how they depended on you, your customer service. I was very impressed over the years of your customer service. It's really good. So what do you like about that? Have you continued to do that? Are you still valuing that?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's actually, I think, something that you and I kind of connected on, because we were both working at a company and stuff, and we were on different teams. So you and I didn't really talk at all until like I met you, and I saw how customer service oriented you were, and that was something like I was trying to model and make for myself in the industry as well. And it's definitely something that's like important to me. I have, like I said, I ended up moving companies, and I had quite a few customers that will still call my phone, and then I can call the office, say, hey, I have this, store that I've known them for a while. I have a lot of history on their grill, and they want me to come service them. And so that, I think, speaks a lot of volumes on customer service, but all, knowing what you're doing and being a good technician on their equipment, but also just on your customer service. I mean, some of those people are relationships I built when I was still in training, or like when I just gotten out of training, and I was still learning a lot, and if you're honest with them, they're a lot of times very forgiving on, different diagnoses that you come across and stuff. So I mean, it's just customer service is important to me for sure, and it's something I'm very much focusing on, and kind of like I've seen with you, when you were a technician out in the field. I mean, you had relationships as well that would call you, and they're
People
almost
still call
happy.
me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
They're sad now, but
there was one day we worked. There was one day you and I worked together. We did like a conduit and stuff because I had just gotten back from the Garland training.
oh yeah,
And
the Chick-fil-A down in
yeah, remember that
Sarasota.
Chick-fil-A? And
This kid
I was,
taught me a bunch on that. I got a
yeah,
bunch of video of that.
but that was an pretty expensive job. I mean, that's one of the more expensive things to replace on a Chick-fil-A grill because you have to separate the platen, and that store didn't mind at all how expensive it was, and we were in the way in their kitchen. Why? Because of the relationship you built
They just
with
kept
them.
coming over and talking to us and
And they
saying
feed
thank
you.
you. And
Yeah, you and I had lunch, that they bought us that day. And
oh yeah, I stay fed there.
yeah, and so it's stuff like that. I mean, there's very few days that'll go by where I'll have to pay for food. I mean, and I think that's a huge perk in the industry. If you have good customer service, they give you drinks when you work. I was at a Hooters the other day and I didn't even say anything, and the guy handed me wings on the way out. I was like, "Hey man, thanks for getting our fryer up and going." And I'm like, "That's awesome."
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you mentioned. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, good.
I was gonna say you mentioned earlier about making mistakes and them being very forgiving. The boys and I, we've talked about that. Just being honest and upfront, and where there's technicians who they're quiet. They could know more than we've forgotten, if I'm saying that correctly. But people they they judge based on what they don't know. People are going to come up with their own conclusions and who you are if you don't talk to them. And you could be a world-class technician, but if you don't have customer service and you don't talk to the customer, they're just assuming that you're either doing wrong, or you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, when you're upfront and honest and vulnerable, yeah, they show you a lot of grace, and they're just like, you know what, that's fine, whatever the quote is, that's fine. We trust you. Did you break that? You came up there like, that's fine. We'll figure it out. Let's just keep doing what you're doing. We trust you. And that's great. That's it's something you can't necessarily teach because it's a character thing.
Right.
So you're doing great, man. I'm glad to hear that you continued. I'll just say I was at a location that belongs to me in technical work wise. And I talked to a manager and she brought him up and she was like, yeah, he's young, looks young, but he was really knowledgeable. Great. I trust what he says and I'm looking forward to when he comes back. And I was just like, I know who she's talking about.
So. Yeah. Which is really neat that you and I are kind of having our own, like we're at different companies now, but like we still
connected.
We're still connected, man. It's
same circle, man.
It's a small
network, bro.
Yeah, it's a big industry, but it's a really small network, especially if you're in it and you have the customer service. It's worked out very well for me so far, and so there's nothing I really, as long as I'm learning, there's nothing I would want differently, if that makes sense, because it's been treating me really well so far. As long as I keep working hard and building relationships and stuff. Now I get to tell all my customers, hey, I'm not just your Garland guy anymore. Now I can work on your fryer. It's like a really neat thing to say to them too. So
that's funny. One thing I was always curious, because I have a younger son in this. Do you ever get any pushback for being so young? People look at you like, you're gonna fix my what?
Oh yeah. When I first started out, it was really important to me. I mean, it's very important to me to get a first time fix as well. But I would spend a long time. I would drive and go pick up the part, go find the part. It was very important to me to get that first time fix on people that didn't know me because I was so young, because I've gotten pushback sometimes, but you can always change that when you walk out and it's working. And so I always wanted them. I'm very recognizable because I'm so young. They're used to older guys usually coming in and they're like, whoa, there's like super young guys in here now. And so that kind of lends itself to being remembered, and so I want them to remember it in a good way. And so that's definitely something that I try really hard to do, is get like a first time fix on a lot of equipment, even that if that means trying to find who has a part on their truck, or how can I get this working, or how can I communicate with them to get whatever it is working. And then once you build that relationship with them, the part could be on back order, and they know that that's the part that's going to fix it because they trust you. You know,
That's cool. That's cool. I always forget to ask my son about that, because I mean I could see it. I dealt with it when I was younger, and I was mid to late 20s. I was dealing with it. I could imagine being 18 years old, 19 years old, and you're going in there to look at a $50,000 piece of equipment, and they're like, "You're gonna work on this?"
Yeah, well, it also a lot of it has to do with the demographic too, of like where you're like if you're in like a fast food restaurant chain, anybody could walk back in there and be like, "Oh, I'm here to inspect your freezer," and it could be some random off the side of the road. They'll let them back there. But like in like other places like hotels and stuff that we've serviced, definitely have to. Yeah, there'll be a little bit of pushback, but like walking into a McDonald's, almost anybody could walk back there.
Yeah.
Hey team, I don't mean to cut you guys short, but I gotta get to the airport.
Yeah, I'm about to bounce too. But we've been gone over an hour, and I really appreciate Luke coming on.
Thank you.
We could probably talk for hours. We'll have to have him come back again, and catch up and see how things are going. We get some new product lines, some new training under his belt. So everybody, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you being a part of Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Have a good night and be safe, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
See you guys. If you guys would, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the podcast. It really helps us grow and helps us know which direction to move in. Also, if you have any suggestions for guests, please email me at commercialkitchenchronicles@gmail.com. Or if you want to be a guest, email me. Love to have you guys on. Thanks a lot. See you next week.